Today is Tuesday, August 2nd, and we are joined. We have a speaker today, Johan from Sweden, who has been an OA member since 2019. The floor is now yours. We look forward to hearing your story.
Thank you so much, Trisha, and thank you, Rita, for inviting me here today. I'm really grateful to be here. Really happy to be here. A bit nervous as well, and yeah. And my name is Johan, and I'm a recovered compulsive overeater, and I live in a small city called Falun in Sweden. It's a bit north inland from Stockholm. A small place, a beautiful place, close to the nature. And yeah, I came into OA in February 2019, and I've been abstinent since 28th of May 2019. So I didn't make it on my first try, and I'm going to talk about that as well. And yeah, I learned a lot in OA. I learned a lot about recovery. I came in here through other programs. I was already into other fellowships when I came to OA. And I came in with the mindset that, well, you know, I beaten alcohol and drugs. I beaten other things. And I mean, this is just food. How hard can it be? And it turns out it's very hard. It's not easy at all. Not at all. So I came in through other fellowships. I came in at the beginning of 2019. I joined OA. I took a sponsor. I started working the steps. I did 1 or 2 meetings a week. I made my own food plan. I avoid, certain things, but and going on like that, I was not really in OA, not with both feet. I had 1 foot in OA and 1 foot outside OA, and that just didn't work. And I heard when I came into OA as well, like credits don't transfer. And I didn't listen to that very much then, but I do today. And I learned that the hard way, that credits don't transfer, definitely not. I thought I was living in step 10, 11, and 12 when I came here. But, I really learned here, in a way, to have a very strong daily program. And somebody told me that OA is like AA, but on steroids. And that's been very true for me. I really learned to work the program to the best of my ability every day, 1 day at a time in OA. So I came in with that mindset, taking this like the book says, half measures avails was nothing. 50% doesn't give me anything, and it didn't really. I went back out, and coming back there in the end of May, I was really smashed by this disease. I was willing to do anything. I was desperate for a solution, and I got a new sponsor. I worked through the steps really quickly. I had a spiritual awakening and started working this program like on a daily basis. And I'm going to talk about that as well, because I think that's really, really important, step 10, 11, and 12, and being in step 10, 11, and 12 every day, doing this work every day. So I had a spiritual awakening. The day after, I was through the steps, and I went through them quickly. I did step 5 to 12 in 1 afternoon and 1 night. And the day after that, I had a sponsee. And the day after that, I just woke up, and the obsession had left me, which was just a fantastic miracle. And I remember calling an OA friend, and I couldn't believe it was true, because I felt at ease, I felt calm. My head wasn't filled with my alcoholic food anymore. And so I called an OA friend, and I told him that something has really happened. It feels like the obsession has really left me. And he said to me, "I hope that it sticks," which I hope too. But it has, and I've been abstinent just over 3 years now, which is just a fantastic miracle. And I've been through things, that would have led me in the past to, binging my brains out. In 2020, in November, in the beginning of November, first my son was born, which was a miracle and a happy thing. So an occasion for celebration, usually in the past. And 2 days after that, my father died. So there was a lot of emotions there just in a couple of days. And I think that this program doesn't get me on pink clouds. I'm not in eternal bliss. I'm not enlightened in any way. I am happy, joyous, and free. But I think the miracle with this program is that I can be abstinent through life, and I can live life on life's terms. And I don't turn to the food as a solution anymore. And that's the fantastic miracle. I had this disease my whole life. For as early as I can remember as a kid, I had this. Always being, turned into sugar as a solution. I was brought up in a home where my stepmother alcoholic. There was a lot of violence. And as a kid growing up, I felt unloved. I felt separated. I felt like, being an alien on this planet, really, But when I had the food, I felt okay. And in some sense, I think that this addiction really saved my life at an early age. At an early age, before being a teenager, I was contemplating suicide. I did a suicide attempt when I was, I don't know how old I was. Could have been maybe 10 years old, 11 years old, something like that. Trying to hang myself with an electric cable. And it didn't happen, obviously, because I'm here. But that could have gone really, really wrong. But thanks to the food, I could always turn to the food to get comfort. I could always turn to the food to feel at ease, to feel, as one with people, to get these fears and emotions to go away. And I just kept using that solution throughout my life. In my teenage years, I also, got into alcohol and drugs, and the food was quiet for a while. Because I got such an effect from alcohol and drugs that the food wasn't that interesting anymore. But in my early 20s, I got back into the food, and there I was. I was using drugs, I was using alcohol, I was using food, and I just kept using a lot of things just to feel okay. And that's all I ever wanted, was to feel okay. That's all I ever wanted. So I lived abroad for many years, for 14 years. I lived in southern Europe, and I lived in Nice in France for 3 years almost, and in Portugal for a year, and then 10 years in Barcelona. And I was just getting heavier and heavier for every year. I called myself a connoisseur. I was running a lot of restaurants. I knew everything about food, and I knew everything about the good chefs and the good wines and all that. But that was really just, I was just hiding behind that, just so I can eat as much as I wanted, and nobody would look twice. And being out on a really good restaurant at night with friends and all that, I could be on my best manners, but then on the way home I would just go into a store, buy my binge food, and then get home, isolate, and just binge and eat. And this just went on and on and on. Then alcohol and drugs took me to hospital. I was in a hospital for 9 months because of alcohol, and I was in a coma for 2 months, and I got really, really ill. My family came down from Sweden and friends from Sweden when I was in a coma to say goodbye to me at the emergency care in Barcelona. And I was in the emergency care there for 4 months. And but somehow I survived, and they say it was because I was still quite young, in my early 30s, and that my heart was young and could take this big hit. What happened in the hospital though was that I lost 100 pounds in 4 months. So because I was on intravenous food, couldn't eat, couldn't drink, and then I was moved to Sweden with a hospital airplane, and came to Sweden and was here in the hospital for 5 months, rehabilitation, and just a lot of things. And coming out of the hospital, I was 100 pounds lighter than before, and I was like, wow. And I got into a fellowship, dealing with alcohol and drugs. I recovered from that. And I thought like, wow, life is just going to be beautiful now. I'm clean, I'm sober, I'm thin, because I always thought that being thin was the solution. That was the solution to all my problems. All my life, I've been, I remember my grandmother putting me on a diet when I was a kid. I've been on diets my whole life. I've been dieting my whole life, and, losing some, and then, just gaining it all back and gaining more. It never worked, obviously, I'm here. And I was not free, and that's what I mean also with credits don't transfer. I got recovered from alcohol and drugs, but I wasn't recovered from the food, not at all. And I was crazier than ever, trying to keep this weight, trying to keep, being thin, and binging and being obsessed with food. So I started with my old solutions, getting on a diet and doing that. And what I could see now, and Big Book is very clear that, this is a progressive disease. It never gets better, only worse, never better. And now I could only be on a diet for a few days, and then I went back to the food, a few days, went back to the food. So in my mind, and this came all natural to me, I thought like, if I'm eating excess of food and I can't be on a diet, I just need to throw up the food that I'm, eating too much of. It made perfect sense in my mind, So I started purging and getting into that. And doing this for a while, I could see, and I had the first step experience, not strong enough though, but I had the first step experience, and I came to OA there in the beginning of 2019. And I did the program half measures, which meant that I relapsed and got back on the horse there. And my first abstinent day, 28th of May, 2019. And, it's it's just one day at a time. Doesn't matter, time, how much time I have, being recovered in a way or anything like that. But for me, it does matter as well, because before that, I could say like, yeah, it's just one day at a time. I don't count the days, and I can also use that as an excuse just to binge and just get back into the program after. So for me, it is. I celebrate my day every year.
Jen, as a reminder, 5 minutes left.
Okay. Not with cake or ice cream, but with balloons or something something else that's funny. And today I live, I do the program one day at a time. I live in step 10, 11, and 12 to the best of my ability today. And I learned to have a daily program. I'm on daily meetings. I do daily outreach. My sponsees, even though the sponsees that I have right now are through the steps, they keep calling me every day. They do a check-in every day. I call my sponsor in US every day and check in with him. I do daily 10 steps. My 11th step, I love step 11. I'm a 11-step junkie. I love getting up early in the morning, doing meditation, reading my books, doing prayers, connecting with God. And I get up really, really early in the morning. I have to get up before my kids. And, they are small, 1.5 years and 4 years. So they get up early. So I have to be really, really early in the morning to connect with God. And then step 12, which is, the most important step, I think. And I think in OA, I often call this the forgotten step, because people are reluctant or they are scared of starting sponsoring. But in my experience, that's the only thing that, I needed to get into sponsoring really quickly in order to get recovered and to stay recovered one day at a time. So I try to sponsor as much as I can, try to do service, and try to live in step 12 every day. And it says, in chapter 7, it says, nothing so much ensures immunity from drinking as intensive work with alcoholics. It works when other activities fail, and I believe that, and that's my experience as well. I need to be in intensive work with others. I need to be sponsoring intensely, and I got through the steps really quickly, and that's the way I sponsor as well. The guys I sponsor, when I take on a new sponsee, he needs to be abstinent 48 hours to clear his mind, and he needs to stay abstinent through step work, and we go through the steps in 8 days. 8 chapters, 1 chapter a day, and start living in step 10, 11, 12. Because that's my experience as well. The food is really, really hard. It's merciless, and it's so easy to go back to. I've been in step 10, 11, and 12 in the morning, and then just, in the afternoon, I'm in the food. It's just, it goes like swoosh, takes a second. And that's what I see in OA as well. So for me, it's really important to have a strong daily program, and 9 days out of 10, it's really, really fun and amazing and, rewarding to do this. And then that 10th day, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I have to call my sponsor today. Am I going to take all these calls today again, But that's the days where I really need to put an effort in the program and really do it as well. Absolutely. That's it's easy to do this program when you're on a roll, when it's easy to do it, when you're feeling good, when everything is working out. And it's hard to do it on the gray days, but I need to do it every day on the good days and on the bad days. And if I just do that, God will do the rest. So it's really, really simple as I see it. And Big Book is really, really simple as well. I have all the instructions I need, and I just need to follow them. That's all. I just need to do what the book says. I need to listen to another voice. I need to hear my sponsor every day telling me also, I need to have accountability, and that's what I get as well, having this daily contact with people. So, but always amazing. And I said this, I've been on quite a few meetings today, and I said, the theme of the day seems to be like, I'm grateful that I am a compulsive overeater. Because if I wasn't, I wouldn't have found OA. I wouldn't have found Big Book. I wouldn't have found, the steps. I wouldn't have found God. I wouldn't have found, all of you guys and all of the friends I have today. My life wouldn't have meaning like it has today. So thank you so much for letting me share today. And with that, I pause. Thank you. So great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Universe is just so wonderful, because today, when I opened up my big book, this is the story I opened up. It's on page 529. It's one of the big book stories in the back, grounded. I had been the object of scorn, shame, and disgrace, yet much more has also happened. Every loss has been replaced with rewards. I have seen the promises of the big book come true in magnitude I could never have imagined. I had gotten sober, I had regained my family, and we were once again close and loving. I had learned how to use the 12 steps and to live the wonderful program that was founded so many years ago by two drunks. It took several years, but I learned to be grateful for my alcoholism and the program of recovery. It forced me into, of all things, it forced me, for all the things that happened to me and for me, a life today that transcends and far exceeds anything I had previously known. I could not have that today if I had not experienced all of those yesterdays. Thank you again for sharing with us.